So let's do some tweets, shall we?
Sure, let's go. I'm just printing off my lid right now, so
we're starting with capturing Christianity. That
great,
is an
Cameron.
appropriate emoji to pop up right in the middle of that. Thank you, whoever sent that. Sakura. So he says, by the way, eclipses provide evidence for theism.
How?
Because they're
How?
pretty. Because they're pretty.
What way? In what way? It is a solid object moving in front of a plasma object. How is that evidence for theism? That's evidence that rock in sky. That's all that is.
Yeah, I know.
You had to start with this one? You had to start with the one that
Yes.
makes me go from nodding and smiling to, oh, I guess I'm up to 11 now.
So, Zerask says, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep suck. Ford, Chevy can be okay. Honda, Toyota are golden. Yeah, I don't have issues with that. Now, Chrysler, the main reason I'm not buying from Chrysler, because, like, I understand that my van was a lemon. That's not reflective of their general build quality. Like, you can get a good Chrysler vehicle. My problem with Chrysler is that they are not signed on to the mediation agreement, so if you do get a lemon, there ain't shit you can do about it in Canada. Whereas Ford and Chevy have both signed on to the mediation agreement, so if I had a similar issue with a Ford or a Chevy, I could just contact the mediation thing and be like, hey, this thing has been back in the shop like 6 times for the same warranty repair. Can you, like, see if I can just get it replaced? And then it would get replaced. Anyway, but back to the tweet. Eclipses provide evidence for theism. Like, no, like he tried to justify this by, like, appealing to the argument from beauty or whatever, which, like, the argument from beauty is, aside from the ontological argument, it might be the stupidest argument for theism that I've ever seen. Because, like, nothing is more culturally accepted than the idea that beauty is in the eye of the beholder. So beauty is clearly subjective. Everybody understands that beauty is subjective. Different people have different tastes. Some people look at the eclipse and think, it's just a shadow. That's not a big deal. Whatever. So, like, it's not objectively beautiful. It is just something that some people think is beautiful. Like, most people probably think is beautiful. So, like, that, I don't see how that could possibly be an argument for God. Scott Dillahunt says, so any chance of a rhino uwu and eclipses are evidence that the world is round and the moon orbits the earth. I've given uwus before. I'm not good at it. I don't know the proper way to do it. Uwu?
I'm not going to correct
Circe
you.
doesn't do it. But wait a sec. I'm hearing, I've got my time traveling correspondent in the field is going to talk to us about the eclipse some more. So yeah, let's cut to time traveling Rhino. This is Vice Rhino reporting live from the eclipse with my first ever man on the street interview. So I've got a man on the street with me. So hi, how's the eclipse?
It's cloudy.
Back to you. There you have it.
I liked how twitchy he was looking around. Where is the eclipse?
It was cloudy.
That was cloudy.
That was my eclipse was cloudy. And the worst part was, we planned the whole thing out. We were like, initially we were like, there's this field just down the road from us that would be a great spot to watch it from. But then we heard that, like, Niagara was, like, promoting themselves as, like, oh, come here to watch the eclipse. It's going to be great. It's going to be this big thing. They declared a state of emergency because they were expecting so many people. Like, that was the thing that people were making fun of, where it's like, oh, is it an emergency a week before it even happens? Like, no. They just preemptively declared it so that they have access to, you know, certain powers that allow them to react to actual emergencies faster. So, like, that's fine. Don't make fun of them for that. That's a reasonable thing to do. But, like, we're like, okay, well, traffic might be bad, and there's going to be a bunch of people in this field. You know what? My dad has a Christmas tree farm. He's got a massive field, great view of the sky. Let's go to my dad's house to watch the eclipse. We're not going to have to, like, get there early to fight for a good spot to sit down and watch it. None of that shit. So we go there, and it was just completely overcast the entire time. Couldn't see shit. Now, it was kind of neat. You could see the shadow of the moon, like, approach from where the shadow was approaching from, and then you got to see like the shadow leaving, and you could see that in the clouds, and that was neat. It was really cool to see. It was really cool to experience. It was neat to hear like the birds just went completely silent when it was dark, and the frogs started doing their evening croaking thing. So like that was neat. So yeah, it was interesting. But then like I'm seeing videos from like Niagara Falls, and like, yeah, it was overcast, but the clouds were thin enough that they still saw the eclipse.
Mm-hmm.
And I texted my mother, who stayed in the town that I live in, that we decided to leave. And she, like, yeah, it was overcast, but she could still see a little, like, she still managed, like, the clouds were thin enough that she saw the actual, like, eclipse thing. So it's like, we planned everything out to, like, make everything optimal. We slept over at my dad's house the night before so we wouldn't have to fight with traffic the day of, if there was any. And, like, we made a whole ordeal out of it. And it turns out that the spot we went to was like the only spot in the entire Niagara Peninsula where the clouds were so thick that you couldn't actually see anything. It's like, fuck.
That is so I am sorry that happened to you. At the same time, because of that, this was way fucking funnier.
Yeah, I know. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to make a bit out of this. I like make the best of it. It's cloudy. I don't know if you guys noticed, but my microphone was just like a lav mic that was duct taped to a pie spatula thing. And the best part was I didn't need the tape to attach it because it's got a clip on it, but I put the tape on anyways because I thought making it jankier was funnier. And also it was a man on the street interview, so like we went to the middle of the road so I could do the man on the street interview on the street.
You know, I hear some YouTubers hold their microphones these days.
I know. That was kind of what I was thinking when I did. Yeah. Alex Markle says, that's the universe telling you to get fucked, nerd. I would get fucked, but Heidi is busy doing homework. So
you know, that's like when somebody on my Twitter was like, hey, if you do a subathon, why not just turn on the camera when you're sleeping like some other streamers have done? And I'm just like, bluntly, because I want to have sex with my girlfriend.
Oh.
Bluntly, that is the reason why. I'm not even going to sugarcoat this one on Twitter.
You're a VTuber, so it'd just be like, why is the model's tits bouncing right now?
You're supposed to be asleep. Why is it going boing, 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 boing?
Yeah. You're allowed to have sex even when you're subathoning. You need some downtime even in a subathon.
But I don't want to be down during sex. I want to get up. That's the whole point.
Yeah. All right, back to the tweets. Okay, so this is setting up for the next one. So again, capturing Christianity, he tweeted a thing like, if chips and guac exist, God exists. Chips and guac exist, therefore God exists. QED.
This is just proving that argument never worked.
Well, it was a joke tweet. This is like he's just basically saying like, I really like chips and guac, so therefore God exists. Or like I have made similar jokes. It's fine, whatever. That's not the issue. Like what I say, like, okay, well, this is essentially the same as the moral argument, because it boils down to, if a thing I like exists, then God exists. Is like, that's the moral argument. Objective moral values and duties exist, therefore God exists. Except you can't demonstrate that objective moral values and duties actually do exist. It's just, I would prefer the universe to be such that they do, therefore God must exist. So like, it's the exact same argument, and his joke argument kind of demonstrates the flaw with the moral argument. It's a really good encapsulation of what's wrong with it, and he didn't realize that when he made the joke. So I took it more seriously than I probably should have. But anyway, that's not the main thing I want to get to here. The main thing I want to get to here is the person that responded to this with another dipshit atheist saying objective morals don't exist while living in a society that can only exist because of objective morals. Unfollowed. Like,
but why
were you following me in the first place? Like,
what?
Did you not know who I was? Like, did you, like, what have I said that made you follow me, that this is the straw that breaks the camel's back and you're unfollowing me now? Like, I'm so curious about that. Or is this just someone who never followed me in the first place and thinks that unfollowed is something that's going to be hurtful?
It would have to be that one, just like the person who goes unsubscribed. I would dislike it twice if I could. And I'm just like, I'm fairly certain this is the first video of mine you've seen. I don't think you were subscribed, buddy.
I mean, like, I retweeted that with the Bye Felicia meme, with being like saying like, I don't know why you were following me in the first place. Bye Felicia. And the response to that was to delete this tweet and then block me, which, like, fair point. I'm not going to judge someone for blocking people. I block a shit ton of people. And it's always amusing to me when I get accused of like creating an echo chamber, because like, obviously I don't create an echo chamber. Otherwise I wouldn't have anywhere to get the tweets that I use for this fucking show.
We're also allowed to curate our surroundings. Like, I'm sorry, but as somebody who has had a conservative person yell at me in his own home about how liberals just don't want to have a conversation whilst being in the middle of a conversation with him, I'm sorry. I'm tired of dealing with the stupid opinions of people when it comes to blocking.
Yeah, especially on Twitter. Like, nah, man. Like, Twitter is a fucking shit show. You know how many accounts you need to block in order to actually create an echo chamber nowadays? Is like, you have to block everything that's a neo-Nazi, otherwise you are going to see neo-Nazi shit. It's just a fact. Van Briggs says I'm using the app for Android so I don't have tabs. I actually refuse to install the app on my phone, so I have two browsers installed. So there's Chrome and then there's I forget what it's called, but like it's weird that like the official Chrome browser for Android doesn't support Chrome extensions that you would have on like the desktop or whatever. And I have an extension that I use that like anyone that pays for Twitter Blue, their tweet gets hidden from me, so I just don't see it. And so I downloaded a third-party browser that is Chromium based that does support Chrome extensions on Android. So like it's possible, obviously, or they wouldn't have been able to do it. So I use that to browse Twitter. So it's just a browser, but it also hides all the people that pay for Twitter because they're just a bunch of dipshits for the most part.
Yeah.
So,
I can't even argue with that because it's just objectively true for the most part.
Yeah, no, and if it wasn't for twit tweets, I probably would have just left Twitter and deleted my account. Like, not deleted my account, but like leave it to fester and rot, because like there is nothing of value on Twitter anymore. Like, I do post shit and I do interact with a few people, but like for the most part, my life would be better without Twitter. But yeah, anyway. Next up, we got Sarah Malkangi, who says, between this and the earthquakes the U.S. has recently experienced, do we really need an eclipse to tell us God is not happy with us as a nation? While showing a picture
Who
of
the fuck is so stuck in the 50s, not the 1950s, the fucking 350s, that they look at lightning and just go, natural phenomenon.
Not even lightning, Suris. Not even lightning. A shadow. There is a shadow that is going to hit a good chunk of the U.S. Therefore, God's not happy with us. Photons. Photons from a specific source will have a difficult time reaching the Earth for 3 minutes. Therefore, God's mad at us. Also, I'm pretty sure the torch of the Statue of Liberty actually has a lightning rod in it, specifically to like make sure that when lightning hits it, it like gets to the ground safely without melting shit. So like, I imagine the Statue of Liberty gets struck by lightning like thousands of times a year. I didn't look it up, but I guarantee you it's up there.
Jesus Christ.
Why? Like, this is just like, people are so dumb when it comes to this sort of stuff.
I just want to know how do you get this far in life where you're just like, you go from smells like rain to smells like God wants to lay his dick on society. How do you get to this point?
What I'm hearing here is that you think that God's dick smells like rain.
At least it's wet.
unlike Ben Shapiro's.
We thought the exact same thing at the same time, and that's scary, and I don't know if I like that, but yes.
It makes sense, though. Yeah, so, but my thing with this is, like, all that considered, like, if I were an omnipotent being who was mad at someone, I feel like I'd have a more clear way of demonstrating my anger than there's a shadow that just went across your country.
I've made a natural phenomenon happen.
Yeah,
something that can easily be explained.
I've made a shadow happen that, like, people who study this shit have known was going to happen for hundreds of years in advance. Also, I've made a lot of Ben Shapiro jokes in this stream so far. I'm pretty sure that Ben Shapiro is the last tweet tonight. So
at least it makes sense.
So it'll come around full circle, unlike Ben Shapiro. Anyway, okay, so this was fun. I
can't even see who this is from.
So this is not a tweet. This is from the frequently asked questions page of the Trump Bible. So you know how he's selling Bibles now?
Yeah.
So I want to pay particular attention to this question. This is apparently a frequently asked question. What if my Bible has sticky pages?
What? Why does
my Bible have sticky pages, Suris? Why does my Bible have sticky pages?
I just turned to Ezekiel and I got rock hard.
This is Ezekiel 23:20, baby. Yep. Nope. This is the Bible that Trump found the Song of Songs. No, this is legitimately from the frequently asked. Like, I saw this posted on Twitter. I saw the screenshot of it posted on Twitter. I'm like, that can't be real. There's no way that's real. So I went to the fucking website myself, and this is legitimately one of the frequently asked questions. What if my Bible has sticky pages? Now, it's actually with regard to the gold gilding on the side, because like that's done after the Bible's printed, and so the pages do kind of stick together with it. So like that's what they're referring to, but like, come on.
What if my Bible is sticky? It just means Trump isn't firing as many blanks as we thought he is today, and your Bible got a special surprise. Did you also know that Trump was in the Navy? Because obviously he's the seaman.
His bone spurs were of a different kind.
General Boner Spurs.
Yeah, there we go. This sticky page Bible. I want to order a Bible and get Trump sticky pages. Like, come on. Senshini's asking, is the Trump Bible like the slave Bible, secretly meant to give the Trumps a rudimentary understanding about reading and writing? So no, the Trump Bible is a Bible that also includes like the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution, and it says like a handwritten copy of one of those like America So Great songs. I forget which one. Handwritten by who?
America!
Handwritten by who? It doesn't say. So like it's either sweatshop labor in India where somebody is copying it out by hand, or it's just a font. I don't know. But also the slave Bible, fun fact. Everybody says like, oh, well, clearly the Bible does not endorse slavery, because in order to make it look like the Bible endorsed slavery, they had to cut out all the anti-slavery verses and make the slave Bible. Except if you actually look into what the slave Bible is, it was put together by a bishop of the Anglican Church named Belby Porteous, who was one of the first abolitionists in the Anglican Church. Abolitionist is someone who is, if you're not familiar, that's someone who's against slavery. And so slave Bible was not the label that he would have given it. It was a Bible that was like, it wasn't meant to be a full Bible. It was meant to be like, this is the sort of thing you're supposed to base your like Sunday services off of, like a guide, or like the equivalent would be like the Soldier's Pocket Bible, which like, here's a collection of verses that are relevant to being a soldier. So like, here's a collection of verses relevant to being a slave. And his idea was like, I want the slaves to be educated so that when we end slavery, they'll start from a better starting point than if they weren't educated. That was the whole purpose of what has become known as the slave Bible. But the slave Bible is actually like, that's the label given to it by the Museum of the Bible, who have completely lied about its origins to make it seem worse than it is. And like, I'm not saying Belby Porteous was like a great guy who was on the right side of every issue with this. Like, he had a really fucked up way of trying to make sure slaves were prepared for the real world by like Like it was like if they're
Let's
Christians,
make
they'll
things
be,
horrible for
if
you.
they're
because that's
Christians,
what's
they'll
gonna
be better.
like.
But like he was doing what he thought was the best thing in the furtherance of the goal of ending slavery. So like, yeah, his methods I would say are fucked up, but his goal was admirable. So yeah, Slave Bible is not what apologists would have you believe it is.
Yay. My lid printed.
Oh, you're done printing?
No, I'm not done printing, but my lid finished printing.
Okay, I was going to say that was a quick print if you're done by now.
Oh no,
is it another slime?
No, but I have many of them.
You're making an art. You build me an army worthy of Mordor.
Every single time that I pull out a different filament to start a different like color project, I'm printing a slime first, because that way I had like most of those slimes are from the same spool of filament because it was a color changing filament, so I got a bunch of different types of colors out of it, and then my brain was like, but I can go further.
So Fennec says, Sir should send you a slime. So the thing is, I have a 3D printer, so if you send me the model, I can print my own slime.
I can send you the model.
That would be way easier than sending me an actual slime. Although my printer has not been turned on in months, so I probably need to do some calibration. So yeah, I appreciate my patrons, and I love my patrons. One of the patron benefits that I probably need to take off of the thing is like 3D printed Rhino stuff. Because I haven't had my printer on in ages, and I'm also really bad at remembering stuff. So like I haven't sent out any patron benefits in probably over a year. I'm sorry, patrons of mine. I love you and I appreciate you. And I love that most of you don't care about this, but it's still on my bad.
It feels bad for him.
Yeah. Anyway, next tweet. Duke of Noticing, which I didn't notice that his name was the Duke of Noticing until like well after I responded to this. So this was a response to me. I posted something pro-trans. I don't remember what, but
he noticed that.
His response was to say, "Weird how you are only a woman in your mind and the rest of society won't accept your mental illness. Almost like you're not."
Rhino, you don't.
You know my pronouns are in my bio, right? This is why pronouns in the bio is a good thing. Because you could have clicked
been able to figure it out.
You could have fucking clicked on my bio, seen that my pronouns are he, him, and then saved yourself from looking like a gigantic fucking idiot by not
pronouns.
Thinking that I'm a woman. Like, no, I don't think that I'm a woman. I'm a dude. I am a cis dude. He, him. And I thought, like, it's fucking hilarious. Like, I responded to him, taking him kind of semi-seriously at first, and then after I responded to him, like, oh, fuck, you literally call yourself the Duke of Noticing. Good job noticing the pronouns in my bio.
Fucking hell. Why are people like this?
Like, I kind of wanted to do the Shannon Q thing of, like, well, prove that I'm not really a woman. But, like, that would be so fucking easy. Because I'm not. Like... Ugh.
Hello, everybody. Here's my mountain of evidence that I am a man. And then you end it with just like a picture, just like a 4x3 picture. And written in it is, this is where I'd put a dick pic if I was really mean.
I mean, there's enough of me on my channel that... Like, I mean, it's usually wearing women's lingerie, but like... I literally mooned my audience in the outtakes once, like just like 2 weeks ago. And then like there was someone commented on that where like, I don't know if you saw the video. If you didn't, like, I don't expect that you watch all my content. Because that's the thing with the atheist content creators. We mostly don't watch each other's content because like, no, I'm so like knee deep in the stuff that like, I don't have the capacity to spend my free time watching other people doing the same thing as me.
It's weird because like I used to with you and Telltale and everybody, I used to watch like every upload when it came out, and then when I started making the content and also when I became friends with y'all,
yeah,
I stopped watching it as much because like now if I go, hey, I wonder what Vice's opinion is on a thing, I could just send you a message.
Well, yeah, like I don't know. I still get to think like Zod is someone that I talk to on a regular basis. Zod commented on one of my videos the other day. I'm like, oh, yay, I got a comment for Prophet of Zod. And it's like, I have his phone number. Like, I can call him. So it's a weird space to be in. But anyway, like, so in one of my videos a couple weeks ago, in the outtakes, like, it was a staged outtake, I will admit it. But, like, I did, like, this joke, like, I'm being an intellectual, because Mike Winger said something, like, he said that Sam Harris held a position, and I forget exactly what it was, but, like, when I looked it up, there was literally a quote where Sam Harris was saying the exact opposite of what Mike Winger was saying his position was. Oh, consciousness is an illusion. He's like, Sam Harris says that consciousness is an illusion. And then when I looked, like, I just did like a cursory Google search, first thing that came up was a blog post written by Sam Harris in which contained the quote, consciousness is the only thing in the universe that cannot be an illusion. So, like, literally the exact opposite of what Mike said he said. And so, like, I filmed my response to that one sitting in my chair, wearing my suit, smoking my fake pipe, which it's a real pipe, but I wasn't actually smoking it. And I actually had one of my kids, like, drew, like, I showed him a picture of Sam Harris and was like, can you draw that? And he's like, I'm not good at drawing hands. I'm like, that's okay. The worse it is, the better. Because I want it to be shit. Like, I didn't say shit, but, like, I want it to be bad. Like draw it your best, but if it's bad, that's okay. That's what I want. So he drew it, and it was great. And it was the cover of, like, Sam's book. I think I titled it, like, Thinky Book by Sam Harris. And so, like, I then printed out, like, his blog article, and I'm like, I just printed out his blog article and put it in the book. This isn't even really his book. I know it's, like, convincing or whatever, but, like, I just wanted to have an air of intellectual superiority while I'm smoking my pipe, reading my book. And so I manufactured an outtake at the end of that where, like, I wasn't wearing any pants, and I borrowed one of my partner's thongs. And, like, I had her, like, interrupt me, be like, hey, can you get me my Buddhist cookbook? Because, like, she has a cookbook that is, like, Buddhist friendly recipe. I don't fucking know what it is, but, like, it's a cookbook that is Buddhist themed, and it was on the bookshelf that was behind me in the thing. So I stood up and bent over with my butt facing the camera, grabbed the Buddhist cookbook, and I was wearing her thong for it. So, like, the joke is I'm wearing a suit but no pants. And,
okay.
And then someone commented, like, don't ever do that again. And having ADHD, when I read the comment, don't ever do that again, I'm like, well, now I need to show my ass off in a thong in every video. Because, like, that's part of ADHD is, like, if you tell me what to do and make it sound like I don't have an option, I am going to do my best to do the exact opposite of that. And then I made this, like, big, like, in my head, it was good-natured. But then it turned out that the person who commented that was actually, like, a patron of mine. So they commented on Patreon being like, so I guess I'm just never going to tell you to do anything ever again. I'm like, okay, you know what? I get it if you want to cancel your pledge. That's fine. Like, this is the headspace that I was in. Like, I wasn't taking you seriously necessarily with that. I think it was meant as a joke. But, like, my ADHD is like, no, that's not a joke. I need to do the exact opposite. So, like, there was this weird thing going on. So, like, okay, yeah. My response, I get it if you're, like, upset at my response and you want to cancel your pledge. That's fine. No judgment from me. And, you know, and in her, like, to her credit, like, we had a good conversation about it, and she was like, no, that's fine. It was like, we've had it back and forth, and everything is good. But, like, oh yeah, Zach's, Zerlock says, not really ADHD, sounds like spite. So so people with ADHD are more likely to, like, when it is a trait of ADHD, it's not necessarily ADHD. This is one of the difficulties with ADHD is, like, almost every single symptom is something that everybody experiences sometimes. And so it's hard to really, like, explain that, like, yeah, you lost your keys. Fine. And ADHD people lose their keys, but it's like, you lose your keys like once a month. So I lose my keys every day.
To make it very, very easy and simple to understand, People with ADHD struggle with emotional regulation. This causes them to be more prone to arguments.
Yeah.
It is everybody has arguments. People with ADHD are more prone to it. So
yeah.
Don't say not really ADHD. No, we understand this is actually a symptom, that a comorbidity, if you will, of ADHD.
Yeah. So it's like, it is something that everybody experiences, but for me, it's like a regular thing. It has actually caused me to lose jobs in the past that I could not, like, they tell me to do something, and I'm just like, no, that doesn't make sense to me. Of course I'm not fucking doing that. That's stupid. My last job that I had before, like, I went full-time with the channel, it was unionized, so they couldn't just get rid of me. But I'm sure that they were happy to see me go, because, like, I was, like, it was a serving job, and one of the things they did was, like, you need to encourage people to leave reviews. And so we have these business cards where, like, they've got the link to where they want to leave the reviews. And they were telling us, like, you need to give that to them, like, after they've had their main course, but before they get dessert. And in my mind, I'm like, if somebody did that to me while I was trying to enjoy my meal, I would be fucking pissed, and I would leave a bad review. And I would make it clear that, like, I'm sure that this is not the server's fault, it's just company policy or whatever, but that's stupid fucking policy. And so because that's how I thought of it, I refused to do it. I would not do it. And as a result of that, I did not get as many positive reviews as other servers who did do that. And apparently that's a thing that neurotypical people don't have an issue with, is, like, having, like, in between their main course and their dessert, somebody be like, hey, while you're waiting for your dessert, why don't you leave us a review? Apparently that's fine for a neurotypical person.
I will just look at the thing and go, no.
Yeah, but from my perspective, I'm like, no, I haven't finished my meal yet. I'm not leaving a review until it's done. Like, what if I want to say something about the dessert? Of course not.
Because you have to finish the task you're on.
Yeah, so it didn't make sense to me, so I didn't do it. But apparently for neurotypical people, it's fine. And so other people got more reviews than me, so the company didn't really like me because I wasn't getting positive reviews. But because it was unionized, they couldn't just get rid of me, and because I had a fair bit of seniority. But yeah, no, it was like, I do much better as a YouTuber because I can, like, well, I mean, I say that, but I have 11 unread messages in my business email account that I know are mostly from sponsors that, like, if I actually deal with this shit, I get more money. But, like, I don't want to deal with this shit.
Meanwhile, the only sponsorship stuff I have at the moment is either people who I find out are scams, or it's the, like, Stream Elements ones where they go, hey, for every sign up, you get 3 ideas of $1.
Yeah, I have 6, when I logged in while you were going pee, I have, like, 6 sponsor offers from Stream Elements, and I'm like, I kind of don't want to take that.
I've debated it, like, when it was Star Trek Fleet Command, I was able to have some fun with it, and then I hit the point in the game where, like, if you're not spending money, you're not able to have a lot of fun anymore.
Well, I also saw, like, I think it was your post, actually, that was, like, doing the sponsorships through Stream Elements is kind of a coin flip whether or not you ever get paid for it in the first place.
Yeah, Saki had one from HelloFresh, and they didn't pay her like 3 years ago, and they refused to.
Yeah, so, like, that's just not a thing that I'm willing to deal with, and I don't want to sell things that I'm not, like, even if it's something, like, I don't take sponsorships that are of companies that I would not use personally. But I also would not take a sponsorship from a company, even if there's something that I would use personally, if there's a chance they're not going to pay me.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, like Ground News. I use Ground News. I'm actually a paying subscriber for Ground News, even though they give me a free subscription, because on the last one, Tim, he writes most of my ads, Ground News, he does not write my ads because they have too many weird requirements about how, like, it has to be relevant to the video, and it has to, like, I have to talk about a specific news item or whatever, and he's just like, it's just easier if I do that one myself. But, like, the last time was like, okay, well, how about you use the trial thing and see what you can do? And so he did, and so he got my free trial, and then it was like, no, man, it's going to be easier if you just do it. So I ended up paying for it. So, like, I am a paying subscriber for Ground News, and I still advertise for them. and because that's a company that I believe in. But I'm also on the verge of like turning them down because it's just more work than it's worth. Like, I don't know. On the one hand, like it's like dollars per hour wise, it's fairly good, but like it's just so much stress that I don't know. It's a hard calculation to make. Anyway, these are streamer problems that you guys don't actually care about, I think, for the most part. But just take it to heart that if you see me advertising for something, it's a company that I would be willing to pay for myself. I will not advertise. Like, there's one that they just emailed me, I think, that they want to do a repeat thing with the Aura clean up your internet presence thing. One of those companies. Like, I would absolutely do that. Unfortunately, they're not available in Canada. Otherwise, I would have. And I actually had to negotiate with them a bit about that because like they were like, oh, well, you have to like do a Google search for your real name and then use our service and then do that Google search again and show the difference. Like, yeah, but I can't sign up for it because it only accepts Americans. And I was like, I actually want to sign up for your thing. Can you please come to Canada? So yeah, that was that. And they want to renew their thing because apparently they got a really good response from my audience. So I'm happy about that, but also kind of annoyed because I can't use it myself, because I would love to like scrub my presence from the internet in the real thing so I could just like accidentally dox myself and it doesn't matter.
See, I'll take a different stance. If you see me shilling for a company, it's probably because my water heater broke.
Yeah, well, I mean,
you saw my water heater broke.
You saw my post on this with Raid Shadow Legends or whatever, where I was I was talking about how like I am not taking a sponsorship from Raid's Shadow Legends, and I posted a thing where it was like, this is how much money I am potentially being offered, and like it's just like, no, I'm not going to do that because I know it's a pay to play, or like it's a pay to win game. But I also know that you have taken a sponsorship, even though like right after you took the sponsorship, you did a video that was like, this is why Raid is shit. So on the one hand, it's like, I recognize that my ability to say no to sponsorships actually comes from a position of privilege. I make enough money that like, yes, I could turn down Raid's potential $6,000. Like that, like, I'm not going to pretend that wouldn't be like, that wouldn't change my life for a couple months and like make a lot of things way easier for me, but I don't need it desperately. So like I can turn it down. It's different when it's like, yeah, no, but I need clean water. Yeah, Fennec is saying established titles. That was a my bad. I
remember you and I having a conversation about established titles. Even I was like, I know other friends who have taken it and it seems fine. But then the information came out around that time. Yeah, so when I did my ad for them was around the time when all that shit kind of dropped. And so that was before I hired Tim to kind of vet these things for me, because I didn't have time to properly vet them. So what I did, I was like, okay, well, Cinema Therapy has done ads for established titles, and they are people, like, they seem like good people. They seem like the kind of people that I would trust with this sort of thing. So I was going to kind of piggyback off of their having vetted them. And that was a mistake. I don't know. Like, I'm not going to say that, like, oh, Cinema Therapy is not trustworthy because they took the ads. Like, I don't know what their vetting process looks like. I don't know if they thought it was legit, honestly, and like something slipped through the cracks there. I don't know. But what I do know is that, like, I did take the ad for established titles, and then as I got massive backlash, I cut the ad out of the video, and I turned down. They were going to be one of the easiest contracts for me, where like they were going to pay me, I think it was like $1,200 a month just to rerun the same ad that I had already filmed for an entire year. Like that's a shit ton of money. And I did turn that down because of the backlash, because I'm like, okay, no, dude, like the money is not worth my reputation. And see, at
the same time, I recognize. I don't know
if I could have.
Yeah, no. This is the thing: is that I recognize that my ability to turn them down comes from a place of privilege, where I am not concerned about my basic needs being met. I know that I have enough money to meet my basic needs, so I can turn that down. But I also remember being in a place where, like, I was only making $1,600 a month. So the idea of another $1,100 a month or whatever the fuck it was, just to rerun a thing that I already done, just to, like, insert video to other video. That's all I had to do. It would take 2 seconds to make a shit ton of money every month. Like, that would have been a completely life-changing... Like, I remember being at a point in my life where I would look at the toilet paper roll, see how low it was getting, and being like, oh shit, I don't know how I'm going to afford my next case of toilet paper. Like, how am I going to ration this? It's toilet paper. You fucking need to wipe your ass.
I remember my so having been in that situation enough, my brain has a compartmentalized setting of the toilet paper I can afford when shit hits the fan and the toilet paper my septic system wants me to use. And luckily, things have at least been functional enough to where I can take option B most of the time. But sometimes I take that option A and I'm just like, man, this is not good. This is not the shit my septic system wants me to use. This is going to cost me later.
Yeah. Well, I'm still waiting for fucking Tushy to like sponsor me, because like I would love to do an ad read for a bidet, because that is my go-to for like remembering what it's like to be poor. It's like I've been there. This is not an act. I was there. And like, yeah, my finances are fine now. Like, I appreciate that my audience supports me, and that is how I live, and I appreciate the fuck out of that. And I always want to remember where I came from so that I don't ever get jaded to where like, oh no, yeah, no, I just deserve this base level of money. Like, no, this is like, I need to earn it every month. And that's how I kind of remember it. And so like the Hello Tushy is kind of like, that would be my ideal sponsor, because like, I remember looking at the toilet paper roll being like, I don't know how I'm going to afford more of that. But like, if you just buy like the one bidet attachment, like even the cheap one that you just hook into the water and it's not even heated or whatever, that saves you so much fucking money on toilet paper. And like,
Food Shop says, why do you have a septic system? Do you have a barn with farm animals? Food Shops,
you live in rural Georgia.
Do you know what a septic system is? There is no city water here. There is none of that shit. There is no city gas here. I have a propane tank. I live in the woods. There is none of that here. And actually, in my district, a lot of people live like this because we have like these clearly defined residential areas that start off as neighborhoods and lead into backwoods and then become nothing but dirt roads where the idea of people becomes a suggestion. And that's a lot of what is here.
Well, like even like septic systems are not that uncommon. Like my dad has a septic system. He's not that far away from, like, he's kind of in between two semi-major city centers.
Also, yeah, like there's a septic system is just my grandma lives in the city limits in Pensacola, and where she lives, she is also on septic, and she is in a fully furnished neighborhood. So yeah, it's a shit tank for when you live in the places in the boondocks. So no, it's not just a shit tank for when you live in the places with the boondocks, because there's also plenty of places that are in city limits that use them.
Yeah. Yeah, it costs money to hook up to city water.
Food Shop stands, are you an idiot? Did you get dropped on the head as a child? I have to ask. It very, very important information seems to be missing from this conversation, because septic systems are actually fairly common. Like in my situation, I live in the woods. Yes. But again, I know plenty of people who live in what would be considered city and still are on this same kind of system. Like, because I've looked at her bills on it, so I know what she has. But okay.
Yeah.
I don't know if this is like,
anyway,
I have the need to antagonize on the internet or what.
Back to the tweets. Kevin Sorbo. If you don't want to slave...
we have to go back to the tweets? Like, looking at him.
So Gretchen Whitmer posted, abortion is healthcare, we'll keep fighting like hell to defend it. To which Kevin Sorbo responded, if you don't want a slave, don't buy one. Same logic. Like, no?
What? No,
That's not even close to the same logic. Like, so the sad thing is I am so steeped in this anti-abortion rhetoric that I actually know what Kevin Sorbo was thinking he was responding to. Like, he thought that he was responding to the, like, oh, if you don't want an abortion, don't get one argument. But, like, that's not the same as abortion is healthcare, because abortion is healthcare. And, like, there are many cases where if you don't get an abortion, it will put your life at risk. Not owning a slave will never put your life at risk.
You know, it's a really depressing thing that I found out today about Kevin Sorbo. One of my favorite video games growing up was The Conduit, and I just found out recently that he was one of the leading voice actors in it.
Ugh. Yeah, that's unfortunate.
That hurts the brain.
Yeah, no, I can't. Like, there was that, I think it was Andromeda, the TV series, the sci-fi show that he was in after Hercules. That, like, apparently it's a really good show, but, like, when I watch it now, I can't get past the fact that I'm watching Kevin Sorbo. So, like, I can't enjoy the show because, like, that's just a fucking idiot at the helm. No. We like, no, that's not good. But, yeah. So that's Case Orbs thinking that saying that something is healthcare is the same argument as saying that if you don't want a slave, don't buy one. It's like, no, not even close.
If you don't want a body, don't shoot one. What?
Yeah, like, no, this is where you get the badly drawn star with, like, at least you tried. Okay, so this is fun. So Sam says, I simply wish for J.K. Rowling everything she wishes for trans people. To which Arthur responds, a man attacking J.K. Rowling again. Like,
what?
Okay. So he responds like, okay, where is the attack? Stace says, you wished ill on her, gaslighting much, typical misogynistic man.
Wait, so like, you
this is,
admit that she wishes ill for trans people?
This is people, like, just coming out and being like, yeah, no, J.K. Rowling wants bad things to happen to trans people. Otherwise, that's not an attack. Like, it's flat out, like, you want bad things for trans people. That's the only way you could possibly see this as an attack, is if you know that J.K. Rowling wishes bad things for trans people. So, like, it's always fun to watch gender critical people fall into traps like this, and, like, being gender critical completely rots your brain. So this happens all the time.
Jeez, if you want to be the person that goes, J.K. Rowling does not want bad things for trans people. She's an ally. She's a feminist. Blah 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 blah. But then also have this take. It hurts my brain.
Mm-hmm. I mean, and he was like, Sam was clearly baiting people for this, and they fell for it immediately. Yeah. And then Neuromdiput says, I wish for Vice Rhino everything he wishes upon gay people. Thank you, Neuromdiputs. Because I only wish the best for gay people. I wish gay people could have all the same rights that straight people have. I wish they had as comfortable lives as straight people have. I wish nothing but good things for gay people. So, like, that's not an attack on me, because I don't wish bad things on gay people. It's that simple.
Instead, you get this.
Yeah. Like, I would never consider somebody saying that I wish on Vice Rhino all the things that Vice Rhino wishes for LGBTQ people. I would never take that as an attack, because I know that I don't wish bad things on those people. I wish nothing but the best for them.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Also, apparently we had the person that I was talking to in the chat, apparently they were just a racist troll, because they kept making comments about the blacks up on Goat Island in New York.
Tell them to go watch our earlier segment on immigration.
Well, my mods have already taken them out though, so they're gone. They went out back and old yellered them.
Good job, mods. Yeah. Maximonia says, when is the white heterosexual male day of visibility? In response to, like, trans day of visibility.
Well, there's 364 days of it, so
365.24 days of it. Like, let's be real. Like, when have white heterosexual male people ever had to fucking hide who they are? Never. Like, that's is literally every day of the year, including all the days that are dedicated to other people.
like, I don't think these people realize that the reason you have a day of visibility for a group of people is because that group of people is either unrepresented or has to go invisible. Now, if you look at the history of trans people, there are two general types of trans person in society, like two broad categories: the ones that want to pass and also fly under the radar, and the ones who are out and proud about it. Now, conservatives freak the fuck out about the ones that are out and proud about it, but they don't fucking know who's in the other category. They have no way of knowing.
Yeah, well,
So,
like,
when-
I am a white heterosexual male. Never once have I felt like I don't have a voice. I have multiple shows where, like, it's nothing but me giving my opinion on shit. Because I'm a white straight guy. And, like, I talk about LGBTQ stuff all the time. As a white straight guy, I will frequently ask friends of mine who are actually LGBTQ, like, hey, can you read over the script and, like, give me your thoughts? Like, what are some things that I could have phrased better? What are some things that I got wrong? Like, give me feedback on the script so that I make sure I'm actually right. But, like, I don't have to do that. I could just say whatever the fuck I want to say. And as a white heterosexual guy, I can get away with that. Now, my partner might argue with the heterosexual thing. She thinks I might be slightly bisexual because of some things that I have said.
I'm right here.
And I don't think it's with relation to you, but that might play a part. I mean, that's one of those things where it's like, I've never sucked a dick. Maybe I would like it if I tried it. I don't know, but I have no desire to try it. So, like, I think I'm heterosexual, but, like,
I know I'm heterosexual and I have sucked a dick.
there you go.
Just
That is fair. That is a fair point.
so
Did I ever tell you when I actually, like, struck out hard with a I was trying to hit on a trans woman. It was while I was, like, at the God Awful Movies live show in Toronto. This was, like, while I was single. It was before I really started dating, and I'm like, maybe I can kind of try and get back into this.
Mhm.
And it was like, okay, well, I'm in Toronto with a bunch of people that, like, I'm gonna only see once in my life, so, like, maybe I should make a move. And, like, she was cute, and we seemed to be getting along, so I was like, hey, you want to come back to my room? It's like, no, I don't. Okay.
You see, in my case, it was, do you want to come back to my state? And the answer was yes.
You convinced a trans woman to move to Georgia.
Yes, Saki is literally in the other room right now.
You must be, like, the most fucking attractive man on the planet to convince a trans woman to move to Georgia.
No, I'm fairly overweight and need to work on a lot of shit.
Well, I mean, there's more to attraction than just physical. Yeah, no, that says a lot about how great you must be as a partner that you convinced a trans woman to move to Georgia. Saki,
My chat's now going slime wrists.
Saki, you need to hold him to very high standards. He has to treat you like the fucking queen that you are. And if he ever is not good to you, you just leave his fucking ass.
No, don't tell her that. That's dangerous things to tell her.
Yeah. Anyway, Anonymous just tipped $6.90. I hope there wasn't a message with that because I'm not seeing it. Thank you, Anonymous. Bow-tied Ranger. I hate that this person is Bow-tied Ranger because I wear bow ties.
Oh.
says Juneteenth was created to replace July 4th. Kwanzaa was created to replace Christmas. Trans
What?
Day of Visibility was created to replace Easter.
What?
They're
But it was on
methodically-
the same day for multiple years, and Easter wasn't on that day. What?
Yeah, no, that's like, like this. I don't understand. Like they freaked out about Trans Day of Visibility coinciding with
It's been
Easter
on the
this year. But it's
same
like,
day for
no,
10 years.
Easter's the one that keeps moving around, bitches. Like,
Easter's the one that moves around because Easter tries its damnedest to be on a Sunday. But fucking, it's not the same thing for Trans Day of Visibility. That's been the 31st 10 years.
Easter is the one that's like, it has to be the first Sunday after the first full moon after the vernal equinox. Whereas Trans Day of Visibility is just like, yeah, no, it's March 31st or whatever it was. Was it March 31st?
It was March 31st.
Okay, I was correct there. Okay. And also, like, Juneteenth is June 19th. That's, like, several weeks away from July 4th. And Kwanzaa is, like, it's not...
Also,
like, most people that celebrate Kwanzaa also celebrate Christmas, in my experience.
There's a reason we say that's why it's okay to say happy holidays. Some people want there to be multiple holidays.
Even if you're just fucking Christian, there's multiple holidays in there. Like, there's Christmas, well, okay, in America, you guys don't have Boxing Day, but, like, there's Christmas, there's Boxing Day, there's New Year's, there's Christmas Eve.
There's Christmas, there's the day your kids go back to fucking school.
Yeah.
That's a holiday. We'll call, and I'm sure it's not called one, but it feels like one for
But
a lot
anyway,
of people.
like, Trans Day of Visibility, March 31st, every fucking year. Easter, it changes every fucking year. So, like, no, this isn't Trans Day of Visibility encroaching on Easter. This is Easter encroaching on Trans Day of Visibility. If you guys have a problem with that, then maybe pick a fucking day and stick to it. Instead of, like, because that's the crazy thing, that, like, there's so much in Christianity that is taken from paganism. Like the decorating of a Christmas tree, that's a pagan thing. The giving of gifts on Christmas is a pagan thing. Like, there's so much in Christianity that is taken from pagan traditions. But, like, the way they calculate Easter sounds pagan as fuck, but it's actually not pagan. It's anti-Semitic in origin, not pagan. Not sure that that's better. It's probably worse, actually. But, like, yeah, no, it was like they needed a way to calculate Easter that would not have it lining up with the Passover, because that's a Jewish thing and we can't be Jewish. Like, that was the whole origin of how they figured it out. Like, it was because the Jewish calendar is a lunar calendar. They had to make it based on the moon somehow, but they wanted it to not be the same as Passover because
they had to make sure it would never fall on the same day.
Well, not never, but, like, usually not.
Never say never.
Yeah. But, like, yeah, no, the people who, apparently next year Easter's on 420. But, yeah, no, these people are fucking idiots. Ben Shapiro. I think that's the last tweet then. Yeah, no, we're ending with Benny Shaps.
Yay.
Says, according to the Biden White House, it is disrespectful and wrong to kill terrorists during Ramadan, but Trans Day of Visibility, TM, must be celebrated on Easter. No, like we said, Easter's the one that moves around. Trans Day of Visibility is the same day every fucking year. If you guys have a problem with it, then maybe do Easter differently. But also, like, disrespectful and wrong to kill terrorists during Ramadan. How much do you want to bet that that's just like, like that's not actually with regards to killing actual terrorists? That's just like,
but just like
with
bombing
regards
Palestinians.
To, yeah, like either bombing Palestinians or killing people at the border for no fucking reason with razor wire or whatever the fuck. Yeah, I don't know. Benny Shapiro's an idiot. And he thinks a wet vagina is a sign of disease.
He also thinks you should buy, he thinks you'll be able to sell coastal property once it's underwater.
Yeah. Speaking of wet vaginas, though, my partner is out in the living room.
Okay.
So, yeah, that'll be the end of the stream. We're running late, as we so often do. I think at this point we should just accept the fact that this show ends at 11 now instead of 10.
Fuck.
Love you too, Suris.
See you, man.
All right. Talk to you later.
Hey, I just quickly want to give a thank you to all of my wonderful patrons who keep this show running. YouTube and Twitch are a pretty bumpy ride at the best of times, and the stability a Patreon provides me is worth more than I can say here. I'd also like to thank each and every one of my $20 and up patrons here, and they would be Red Joker, Britzkrieg, Cameron, Dren, Jemshin, Smiling DM, Poundini, Mabbity Babbity, Naomi, Isaac, Nixie Chan, the Oberon team, Agamotto, Jordan, Ravi, Giuni, Kiratorian, Prisma, all of you, I'm not saying that part, and Starlight. And finally, thank you to everyone else that helps keep this channel alive. While you're here, why not check out another video? And thank you for watching.